Hey everyone, welcome back to Colourful Indian. I am really excited today because I am going to be featuring Terra Moon highlighters on my page. So I did get a package which I haven't opened yet, but I know it's a highlighter, so we're going to open it. It's a pretty big package, so I want to open it and see what we have inside. So let's do that really fast. I'm going to include product pictures and probably like flip the camera so that you can kind of see what it looks like, and we'll go through each of those shades. And I think what I'll do is I'll test them out on my cheek so that you can actually see what they look like when you're wearing them. So this is the package over here. I'm so excited. Oh my goodness, guys. So I went and I opened it and they have kindly sent me 12 highlighters. I was not expecting this at all. I thought I was actually getting one. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought that, but okay, I've gotten all 12 shades. I'm so excited, so thankful. I'm so excited, honestly. So if you don't know, highlighters are some of my favorite products. I just love adding an additional shine to my face. These are 36 mm. Oh my goodness. Look at these. Like, I need to open all of these and show them to you. So I'm not going to do it like this. I'm going to flip the camera like I said. We're going to go through all 12 of these, and I honestly cannot wait to show you these beautiful shades and try them out and swatch them, because honestly, I have been a fan of Terra Moons for a very long time. I love the eyeshadows that I have seen them create. I've always wanted to try them, and I feel so blessed, honestly, to have received these. So let's get right into that. This over here is an overview of all of the shades that I have received from Terra Moon Cosmetics. As you can see, they have different finishes. Some of them look a lot smoother, some of them have a more sparkly finish, some of them seem to have a bit more texture and more of a glittery finish than others. And we're going to now look at some of those shades. So the first one being Haze of the Moon. So Haze of the Moon is a really, really beautiful shade. It's got this gorgeous bronze kind of shade in some lighting, and then it even moves into like a pink, and you can see specks of blue in the shade as well, or green sometimes. So it definitely changes color. After that, we have Lunar Vapor, which has a smoother finish, and this is kind of like an off silver in some ways, because it kind of looks brown in some angles, and yet in other angles the shine really is very silvery. Autumn Sunset is a really beautiful shade. It's kind of like a classic bronze, and it has a very shimmery kind of finish. It's very pretty. Autumn Sunset has a beautiful and very sparkly finish. It definitely looks really beautiful on swatches. You can see that it's just a really beautiful classic autumn color. The color Halo has a similar finish to Lunar Vapor. The finish is very similar. However, the main difference between the two shades, even though they kind of do look similar, is that this shade Halo is more gold toned, and you can definitely see that when you look at the two colors together. Stay tuned for the swatches so that you can actually see that. Moving on, we have a shade called Denebola. This is a beautiful brown gold shade. You can automatically see that it is made for deeper skin tones, but it is very, very gorgeous, and that finish is also kind of sparkly and really pretty, so it would definitely bring a beautiful highlight to the cheeks. Amber Sky. So the main difference between Amber Sky and Denebola is that Amber Sky is a more chocolatey kind of brown, and it doesn't have as much of that gold coloring to it as Denebola. So here you get to see the swatches all together. You can see that some of them have similar finishes. Like I was saying, Lunar Vapor as well as Halo, they have similar finishes, but the colors are different, because you can see the way that they're looking on my hand. And you can also see those last two shades, Denebola and Amber Sky. Again, they look similar, but they're not. And you can definitely see that in these swatches. Luminescence is a really beautiful shade. It's white when you actually look at it initially, and then when you swatch it, you can see shades of pink, purple, blue, and even specks of green. It's a really fascinating shade, and it's very sparkly, however not as sparkly as some of the other shades that we have coming up. So the next shade is Acrux. Acrux is also really beautiful, and this is a shade that I accidentally dropped, but it's still really gorgeous. If you look at the shade, it's got this gorgeous pink kind of shine going on there. It's mostly pink, definitely a pink base, but when you move it around in the light, you can see a little bit of purple coming through as well. So this actually does have a shift. Astral Allure is definitely a really gorgeous shade, very shiny, a lot shinier than the previous two shades, and it's just stunning. It has a very glittery finish. You can see, you know, specks of different colors showing up in the sunlight. You know, you can see pink, you can see brown, you can see a little bit of a gold kind of, you know, shimmer going on there, and when you move it around the light, you can definitely see different shades coming up. Astral Allure has very strong shifts of color, and you will be able to see this on your cheeks. Amalthea is a beautiful shade that actually changes color as well. Now the finish is definitely different. It's more similar to the first two shades, Luminescence, and then we had Acrux. So the finish is similar to them, but when you actually put it in the sun, you can see the most glorious pink sparkles coming through. It is so bright, so shifty, and so beautiful. This is absolutely glorious. Color shifts from rose gold to pink. It's just got these really, really beautiful shifts, and you can see strong shifts in colors when you're actually applying this to your cheeks. It's one of my favorite shades from this collection. Coral Horizon is a unique shade because it has a more orange gold base, and I don't think any of the other shades that I have seen actually have this kind of shift in color going on. It's very, very pretty. I think that this could be used as a blush just looking at it initially, and you know, it does have a very smooth finish as well. It's very, very pretty, easy to use, and it just glides onto the skin. It's a gorgeous shade. Last but not least, we have Ersa. Ersa is a very fascinating shade because it has shifts going from a very deep brown. Now this would be perfect for deeper skin tones, and you can kind of get like a purple undertone coming through as well when you look at this. So it comes across as a very deep brown when you swatch it, but when you're actually looking at the shade, you can definitely see this kind of deeper purple shade coming through. And when you look even closer at the sparkles, you can see, you know, pinks and silvers in that actual shade. So it's a really fascinating and really, really beautiful shade. So here you can see all of the swatches together. They are absolutely stunning. You can see that, you know, while they may look or seem similar when you're just looking at them in the pan, when you look at the swatches, you can actually see huge differences between all of the colors. So that being said, let's swatch them now onto my face. So we're going to start by doing one shade on each cheek, and I've picked two shades. So I've got Luminescence, which is over here, and then I've got Coral Horizon over here. So these are going to be the first two shades, and I will use a mini light to kind of show you the sparkle and everything that you can see. So these are the first two shades. You've got Luminescence, and then you've got that gorgeous coral shade over there. They both look stunning. Luminescence comes across as a shade that has a blue and a slight blue and purple base, but it's actually white, but the color white comes out the strongest, and I can see greenish sparkles in the shade as well. Coral Horizon actually reminds me of one of my favorite blushes that I have. It's kind of got a very gold tone over there, and yet it's like a pink gold, and then it moves into like this deeper salmon pink, and that's what these two shades remind me of. We're going in with Luminescence right here. Oh my gosh, that is stunning. I can just see this in the inner corners of my eyes. That would be absolutely incredible. So I'm just turning my face like this. I'm not really seeing that much of a cast coming through. Like when I see myself in the mirror, it kind of feels like there's a slight maybe purple kind of cast coming through over there, but it's not super significant. I feel like I could achieve a very frosted kind of look with this highlighter. It's absolutely stunning though, and I can definitely see all those different colors coming through. So now it's kind of giving me a very pink purple kind of shade coming through there, and then you can definitely see that white, and you can also see those beautiful gold and green shimmers coming right there. Okay, so now we're going to do Coral Horizon. I'm going to tap that very, very gently onto my skin right here. And oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. This would be an amazing autumn shade, easily. It's very, very pigmented, and it could even be, to me, it could even be like a blush. Really, really pretty, very warm, you know, like it kind of reminds me of a beautiful summer. On this side you have this gorgeous blinding white based one, and then this is like a more subtle highlighter, but I really think it's pretty all the same. I feel like this brings a lovely kind of warmth to the cheek. One more thing that I can say about this shade is that it does have a pink cast, because when I turn my face like this, you can see pink very, very strongly here. So That's what you're gonna get if you use this. This could actually be a really beautiful blusher in my opinion as well. The next shades we're going in for are going to be Acrux over here and Amalthea, two really fascinating pink shades. So the thing about Acrux is that I accidentally did break this shade, so I'm going to have to be very careful putting it on. It just fell out of the pan when I was taking photos. This is what Crux and Amalthea look like. So if you look very carefully, Crux kind of has a blue going to like a pink kind of shift, and Amalthea is absolutely beautiful and even more fascinating because it's kind of got this gold, kind of like a rose gold going into like a pink shift, and that's really, really fascinating and beautiful. It kind of even looks like a shade that I would like to use on my eyes. It is so stunning. I definitely don't have that shade as a highlighter, so I can't wait to see how this is gonna look. Okay, let's add some right here. We're going in with Acrux right here. Okay, so you can automatically see the difference between Acrux and that very first shade that we used, which was Luminescence, because this has a more pink, definitely a more pink base over here, and very, very bright. And then over here, this is Amalthea. It's a blinding kind of highlighter, which I absolutely love. Oh my gosh, that is crazy. Like, I would wear this as an eyeshadow. It is so pigmented. The cast, it has a cast. You can see that happening. It's a very, very strong cast right there. So you can see that, and you can see this over here. It's definitely more icy for my skin tone. But honestly, if you were to put a little bit of these in the corner of the eye, I think it would just brighten up, you know, your eyes so much, especially if it's going to get caught from certain angles. Amalthea has very strong shifts. It's got a very beautiful gold coming there, and then it goes to pink, and this is just by moving my head like this. The shade actually looks rose gold when you look at it in the pan in some angles as well. So it's a really, really fascinating highlighter, very beautiful. I can see rose gold in my mirror as well, and when I blended this out, I felt like the cast became less. I think if I was to use a pink blusher over here, I think that this would probably have less of a cast. It just looks really, really beautiful. Very, very gorgeous. And if we come over to this side over here, you're going to see that this shade is less sparkly, but it's still shimmery, and you can see that it's got that, you know, very frosty kind of pink. It does give shine because I have the light here and you can see that. However, I feel like this one shines even more because it just seems to have more sparkles to it, and it kind of has a very glittery kind of effect going on right over here. Alright, so let's move to the next two shades. I'm going in with Ersa and Astral Allure. Two beautiful shades. So these are the two shades in question. You can see that one of them is very, very deep. I'm absolutely fascinated by this shade, and I'm really wondering like how it's going to look on my cheek. It looks like a cool toned brown, and then the other shade looks like it's moving from a bronze into a cool silver. So this is going to be Ersa. Personally, this already looks really, really deep on my skin tone, so I think that this would be perfect for someone who has a more beautiful skin tone, you know, like very deep, and I kind of love that. I would actually use this more as an eyeshadow. I'm just gonna show you what that looks like right here. So this is a multi-use product, yeah? Just look at that. That's gorgeous. This is not going to be a highlighter for me because my skin tone is obviously a lot lighter than the color, but it would work so well as a brown. Like, I just love the way that's looking. It's stunning. And then let's go in with this. This would work because again, I just need to blend it out. It does have a cast. You can see the cast coming through right over there. And it probably would look really pretty as a eyeshadow too. So if you're going to use this as like a eye topper shade or something because you just want some extra sparkle, look at that. It does work and it does look really pretty. So when I blend it out, it becomes more dispersed, and you can see that there's specks of silver, pink, and gold coming through. You can definitely see those colors. And the cast is also less. But I wouldn't worry again about this because if you're wearing contour, it would probably blend into that. We will be using, so I'll actually continue using these highlighters in you know, future looks so that you can actually see for yourself how this is going to look. Like I said before, I think it would look absolutely gorgeous as an eyeshadow for me. Just look at this. Look at the way that it's sitting there. It's really, really sparkly. I would be happy to use that like as a transition shade, or, you know, put something on top of that or connect it to a brown look. It's really, really beautiful. And it kind of does have a slight purpley kind of tone going on there as well. So I would say this is kind of like a cool purple brown toned shade, and it's nice. It is nice, but over here it has over here, the way the cast is on my skin, it wouldn't be suitable. So that's why I'm using this one as an eyeshadow for myself. I feel this one would work a lot better because the cast can be blended out into like a pink blusher or something. But my contours tend to be a lot warmer than this. So right now, as it stands, I would rather use this as an eyeshadow. So let's move to those next two shades. We're now coming into some of the more bronzier shades. We have 6 more to go. So I'm going to start with Halo, and we're also going to use Denebola. These are 2 shades, and we're going to see how these work on my skin tone. So let's start with Halo, and I'm going to use my brush for this because I feel like some of these shades may just have to be built up. So this is what Halo looks like using a brush, which I think is more than sufficient for me. This reminds me of a very bronze kind of shade on my face. I do like the way that this looks, and I think that it has a cast. When I put my head down like this, you should be able to see that cast there. So I would say that a little goes a very long way with this shade, mostly because I barely touched the shade at all with my brush, and you can see what that looks like. Now let's do Denebola. I'm taking some. This is definitely more bronze. You can see that it's a deeper toned shade. So I think that I'm just going to stick with about that much because, again, this is a very, very good highlighter collection because I feel like this has been created with multiple skin tones in mind. I don't think I've actually seen that many highlighter palettes or products do that. So even if it doesn't work for me, I just want to let you know I'm doing this so that you can kind of get an idea of what this would look like for you on your skin. Okay, so if you blend it out, I barely touched it. I barely put anything, and you can see that it could work. This shade could actually work for me. It does have a bit of a cast over there, as you can see. If I'm using my contour powders from, you know, my Woosh Beauty palette and everything, I think that this would actually be fine. It is very, very pretty. It gives a very natural kind of color actually to my skin, which I actually do like. And then this one over here, I'd actually applied a bit more because it was, you know, closer, I think, to my skin tone. So I'm just gonna blend this out. So if you blend it out, you're still going to get that really pretty natural shine, which I think is pretty important when you're using a highlighter. This kind of has more of a silvery base over here. Now we're going to be going in with Amber Sunset and Amber Sky. Amber Sunset looks really, really pretty. It's kind of like a very shimmery bronze, and you can see that it's got a bit of silver going on there too. I'm just going to take a little bit and put that over here. You can see the glitter. It's very glittery, very, very glittery. Oh, and I really like this shade because I don't see that much of a cast coming through. Oh wait, there it is. Okay. So I do like this shade. I think it's very, very bright. Like a little goes a very, very long way. So you can already see from this collection, every single one of the shades does not need a lot to get that kind of shine onto your skin, which is really impressive. I do like that about the shades. We're now going to go in with the deeper shade, which is Amber Sky. Is a deeper brown, you can see that. And we'll just apply a tad bit over here. Because if it doesn't work for my skin tone, then I would just use it again as an eyeshadow. But it does not fail in the shine. Just look at that. Wow. So again, this is definitely a very deep shade. This is for a deeper skin tone. It's really, really pretty though. And I would totally wear this as an eyeshadow like how I did with that other shade. Alright, so now we have the last 2 shades. We've got Lunar Vapor over here, and we've got Haze of the Moon. These shades may look similar, but they're not. Lunar Vapor is kind of more of like a silver, and then this one, which is Haze of the Moon, it's kind of got like a brown silver base going on there. This is Lunar vapor. You can see it's a very, very shiny, shimmery shade. And it does have a little bit of a brown base coming through over there. When I dip my head down, you can probably see that cast coming through. But it's very, very shimmery and very shiny. And last but not least, we're going to go in with Haze of the Moon. This is definitely a brown base, because you can see it there, and it's very sparkly. Oh wow, this is so pretty. So I think that I'm someone who just, I kind of appreciate the more shimmery shades. That's always been me. And you can see that the finishes are definitely different. Like this is more satin in the sense that it kind of just glides. And then these over here, they just have such a strong shine to them. If you are looking for the sparkle, yeah, that one's gorgeous. Even this is. But I like this one more. So this one is Haze of the Moon. Yeah, really, really gorgeous shade. So that brings us to the end of, you know, just testing out all these 12 shades. You can see that there's a range of colors over here. They're so beautiful. Some of those shifts are just crazy. The amount of pigment in these shades is also really, really amazing. It tells me that you're going to need very little of each shade to actually get a good amount of shine on your face. So I actually am really, really happy with these shades. I think they're beautiful. I think that they are pigmented. They're multi-use products. I can see myself using some of those deeper tones for lip products or for my eyeshadow, like I showed you with one of them. That would be, I think, Ersa. Yeah, Ersa. Like Ersa was really deep, and I felt like it would be so beautiful to kind of create like a gorgeous smoky eye, or even as an eyeliner. I like the way that they feel as well. These are not super wet, but they're just very comfortable on the skin. I didn't feel like it was, you know, an excessively dry or excessively wet kind of shade. They're just really, really nice and comfortable to work with, and you can just glide them very easily onto your skin, which is obviously important. I feel they look good on my skin too. So I think that all in all, my favorite shades were definitely the ones that were, you know, on the lighter side, and I think some of those would be Luminescence over here. Luminescence was absolutely gorgeous. I really loved that one. I really loved this one too. This is probably like the only one that kind of had a very, very coral pink you know, like tone going on there. This is a very unique shade. It's the only one really that's very, very corally pink. I think that Coral, Horizon, and Amalthea are probably two of the shades that have a more warm kind of tone going on there, especially because Amalthea goes from a pink to a bronze to a gold. Like this shade has so many shifts. It really, really does, and it's a very, very pigmented one. It's just, it's an incredible shade, honestly. I don't think you can see a ton of shifts from this, but when I used it and when I was showing it to you, see, yeah, so when I do this, you can see that, you know, there are so many shifts happening here with this shade. It looks bronze, but it's actually pink, and then it becomes gold as well. So it's a very, very fascinating shade. Definitely one of my favorites from this collection. I feel like the super sparkly ones were definitely really, really beautiful as well. And I hope that you enjoyed the comparisons that I did for you too. Basically what I did was I took the colors that I felt were the most similar, and, you know, I thought that maybe you guys would like to see that. These beautiful highlighters are being released on the 29th of September, and I will have the details in the description box and in the comments for those of you interested in picking them up. I think that they're stunning, they're gorgeous, and I think that they're going to last whoever purchases them a long time. This is my first time featuring Terra Moons on YouTube, and I'm looking forward to featuring them more. I think that they've done a fantastic job with this collection. It is absolutely stunning. Very, very impressed by the formula, by the pigmentation, by the way that these shades were working. They are so gorgeous, and like I said, they are multi-use, because I would gladly use a lot of these shades on my eyes as toppers, whatever, as lipstick. You can do a lot with these shades, and I really like that. So a big thank you to Terra Moons for sending these over, and I will see you all very soon for another video. Lots of love to you, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.